Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't posted a video in like a year, but I'm going to try to get back into posting on YouTube just because I really miss like editing videos and all of that stuff. And also you should definitely follow me on Instagram and TikTok where I post even more book content. So in today's video I really want to do a deep dive into my very ambitious fall TBR. I have had a really great reading month so far this October, and I have a lot of books that I want to get to still in October and then in November, so let's dive into my fall TBR. The first book that I want to read is You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. This is the author of The Perfect Marriage, and I absolutely loved that book. I really liked the writing style, and it was just so fast-paced, so I really wanted to read this one, and I saved it for fall just because the cabin on the cover just gave me fall vibes, so I figured it'd be a great fall book to read. And I just feel like mysteries are so great to read in the fall. And honestly, this talks about a New Yorker girl named Grace Evans who is taking a break from her busy life by booking an Airbnb on a ranch in the middle of Wyoming. And she arrives and finds the owner of a guy named Calvin Wells, and Grace starts to discover things that make her very nervous, like a missing woman, no cell phone service, and just really feels trapped at this ranch Airbnb. I just feel like it's going to be so suspenseful, and just there's definitely going to be a really big plot twist because there really was a big plot twist in The Perfect Marriage, so I'm so excited to read this book. Another book that I want to read is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. This book is by Ashley Winstead. I have never heard of this author before or read this author. My sister actually borrowed this book to me, and on the back it says 6 friends, 1 college reunion, 1 unsolved murder. And it's following this group of friends who at 10 years after they graduated college are coming back to this big reunion for like homecoming. And it talked about how one of the girls in their friend group was murdered when they were in college, and it has not been solved. And so it kind of some new secrets come out about that case, and yeah, it just talks about these friends kind of reconnecting now 10 years after they graduated college. And yeah, it just seemed like a perfect book to read in the fall. I mean, the cover is very spooky, and I liked that. And yeah, just the whole college vibe, I figured it'd be a great book to read in the fall. And it is also like a dual timeline where it talks about like what their life was like when they were in college and then to present day 10 years after they graduated. The next book that I want to read is called Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. This book talks about Mallory Quinn, who is fresh out of rehab when she takes a job babysitting this person's 5-year-old son, Teddy. And she bonds with this sweet boy who always really likes to draw, and his drawings are typically normal, but one day he draws something really different, which the back says it's a man dragging a woman's lifeless body. So Mallory, who is this child's babysitter, starts to kind of, I guess, look through his drawings more and more and look at all the details to try to kind of piece things together about what's going on. And in this book, actually, which I was so excited about, they have like the actual pictures that the child is drawing, and so I feel like that is going to be such just a cool addition to the book to actually be able to see what the child is drawing. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one, and again, just a perfect book to read in the fall because fall is just totally mystery time for me, especially in October with Halloween. It just is the perfect time to read all the mystery books that I want to get through this year. The next book that I want to read this fall is called The Brothers Hawthorne by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the author of the Inheritance Games trilogy, and this is another book that's kind of in that world. I don't really know if it's like a prequel or something, but it just focuses on 2 of the brothers, I believe. So I'm really excited to dive back into this world. I read the Inheritance Games a while ago, and I read it like the first one, and I remember buying the second one when it came out, and then buying the third one when that came out. So I am so excited this is finally out in paperback. I've been waiting for it to be out in paperback so I could buy it to match my other ones. And yeah, I'm just really excited to dive back into this world. I absolutely loved the Inheritance Games. I just thought it was such an interesting concept, and I just cannot wait to get more of that story. Another book on my TBR is actually a series of 4 books, and that is the Naturals series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This series, I believe she wrote before the Inheritance Games, but I had not heard of it until I saw it on Barnes & Noble one day, And I have heard on TikTok that it is like Criminal Minds, which is one of my all-time favorite shows. So I cannot wait to check this series out. I just have the first one, but then there are 3 other ones, and so I feel like it's going to be such a great series to read this October, November. And it talks about these teenagers who are very, very good at reading people, and they're kind of like profilers, and they basically get recruited by the FBI to begin like a program that uses teenagers to work on cold cases. And yeah, I just feel like that's such an interesting concept because it is like Criminal Minds except with teenagers. And so I cannot wait to read this book, read the whole series, and I will definitely make a whole video talking about it. The next book I want to read is called The Dead Romantics. This is by Ashley Poston. I have read The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and I really, really enjoyed it. I love the magical realism writing of it, so I am very, very excited to check this book out. I don't know, just looking at the cover, it gave me kind of fall vibes, so I figured to wait until the fall to read it. And yeah, I'm just so excited. It follows Florence, who is a ghostwriter for one of the most prolific romance authors in the industry, and she has a new editor who won't give her an extension on her book deadline, and then she basically ends up going to her father's funeral, and then there's a ghost standing at the funeral's parlor's door, and just as handsome as her book editor. So basically her book editor is dead. It literally, the last paragraph says, "Romance is most certainly dead, but so is her new editor. In his unfinished business will have her second-guessing everything she's ever known about love stories." I feel like that is such an interesting premise. I don't know, I feel like with a lot of romance books, you think like, oh, she's this ghostwriter for this author, and her new editor is giving her a hard time. So it's going to be enemies to lover, they're going to fall in love. But in like Ashley Poston's writing with the magical realism, like he's dead, now he's a ghost. So you don't expect them to like have a traditional love story. And so I'm just so excited to see where this book takes us. And yeah, I'm just so excited to dive back into her writing style. The next book I want to read is also by Ashley Poston, and that is a novel love story. This is her latest release, and I just figured I would also read this one in the fall just because it is, again, like magical realism. It follows this girl named Elsie Merriweather, and it talks about how she loves to get lost in a good book, and eventually her car breaks down and she finds herself stranded in a quaint town. Seems like it's right out of a novel because it is actually out of a novel. She is in Ellerton, the town from her favorite romance series, and so she basically gets trapped in a town from her favorite book, which sounds like a dream to me. I would love that, and so I'm so excited to read this book because I feel like that is just like every reader's dream, is to just be able to spend a day in like one of their favorite books. So I feel like that is going to be amazing. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to check this book out. My next book on my fall TBR is Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. I have been so excited for this book to come out ever since it was announced. I absolutely loved Better Than the Movies, and I recently reread it in September. And so I'm just so excited to dive back into Wes and Liz's love story. I loved the characters so much. I loved how real their relationship felt. Even though it is a young adult book, it still covered deep topics. And so I'm so excited to read Nothing Like the Movies. I just cannot wait to find out how their story continues. I know that this is kind of a second chance book, and so I'm very, very curious to see how Lynn Painter kind of navigates that. But yeah, I am so excited to read this book, and this is definitely probably my most anticipated read of the entire year. The next couple books that I want to mention, I don't have the actual book because I'm going to read it on Kindle Unlimited. And there are a couple by Frida McFadden. The first one is called The Boyfriend, and that is her latest book. I am really, really excited to check it out. I've only read one Frida McFadden book so far, and that was The Inmate. And I absolutely loved that book. I really liked how fast-paced it was, and just her writing style is awesome. So I'm excited to read The Boyfriend. And then another one I want to read is Never Lie, also by Frida McFadden. And yeah, I haven't even looked really too much into what these books are about, but I just knew that they'd be great mystery thrillers to read in the fall, and so those are definitely on my TBR as well. Those are the books that I'm hoping to read this fall. Let me know if you have read any of these or if you plan to read any of these, and also let me know if you have any other recommendations I should put on my fall TBR. This is definitely a very long list, and I might not get to all of them, but I just like to keep my options open for this fall. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.